Coming to Wakefield Park's pretty special for me, and it's a funny feeling because I come here and at first it doesn't feel like I'm going to a racetrack because it's such a homely feel for me.
The surface is probably a little bit different to, somewhere like Phillip Island. It's definitely got the bumps and a lot of character.
It's just complete shock to the system. You can't just hit every corner. You've got to look at bumps and you've got to take different apexes to try and make that lap time work.
It's a track where you can really, get up close and personal with the fans.
Yeah, it's such an exciting place for me just because I'm at home and my family's here and I really enjoy my experience at Wakefield.
After an incredible opening round of the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship, Australia's leading riders now converge upon the Wakefield Park circuit located near Goulburn in country New South Wales for round 2. Today, the handlebar heroes continue their quest for national supremacy on the 2.2 kilometre Wakefield Park venue. Our coverage presented by Yamaha Motor Finance, Yamaha Motorcycle Insurance, Motul and Pirelli.
Hello and a warm welcome to Wakefield Park for round 2 of the Australian Superbike Championship. We've got a lot of action coming your way, and joining me this weekend, of course, Jason Crump, 3-time World Speedway champion. And I'll tell you what, that lap that Troy Herfoss did yesterday, amazing.
Yeah, 57.3 for pole position around here. Fantastic lap from Troy. I think after Phillip Island, he's been really working hard and looking forward to coming here to Wakefield Park for his home round. And it showed yesterday on track. He was phenomenal all day.
Well, Jason caught up with Troy. Let's go and see what they had to say.
Yeah, Jason, I am happy. 2 or 3 years ago, we come here and, it was like, can we get in the 58s, Then last year, can we do a 57? And now, we're knocking on the door of a 56, and I'm not sure what the fastest four-wheel lap is around here, but we're definitely taking big chunks out of that fastest lap around here. But to have the fastest lap around Wakefield on two wheels, at my home track, it's really, really cool. And I enjoy coming here, and it's not just the track I enjoy, but, when you got, it's like when you got some family and friends with you, it's, you always try your hardest, but you really dig deep when you got your friends here. So it's exciting for the championship.
Good to have you with us on Fox Sports coverage of the Australian Superbike Championship for Yamaha Motor Finance. Yamaha doing a mighty job this season. Here's Steve Martin with more.
Yamaha are taking their racing very seriously this year. They've come here to the Asbk and What are you doing up there, mate? I'm trying to do a serious piece to camera here, and what is that thing you've got there?
It's called a boppet. I'm just honing up my reflexes for the electronics.
The reflexes for the electronics. I mean, I know these things are very, sophisticated nowadays. I mean, what sort of things can you change on this R1?
Yeah, look, we change a lot of stuff. We can change everything on the fly out there, but the main thing is like the traction control, slide control, and the anti-wheelie. So we just try to make it so the bike's more rideable, so if the conditions change, we can still maintain the lap time.
So you're telling me you're out on track on the R1, and you're using this boppet thing to improve your reflexes, and after about 3 or 4 laps, is that something that you might play with, like the traction control to make it spin more or less?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're travelling down the straight at 250 kilometres an hour and you're trying to get one little press of the button with your gloves on, you need to have good reflexes. So just hone them in there to make it a bit better. But yeah, traction's something that we change as the race goes on, as the tyre wears, and it's all about trying to be consistent. And 18 laps around here is hard work.
They are pretty complicated as well, these bikes, because not only can you change your traction control and stuff like that, but also the engine brake control stops the rear wheel from sliding when you head into corners as well. I mean, is that something you can change out on the track, or do the technicians do that with computers when you come back in the box?
Yeah, look, the decel, like the engine brake control, is all done in the pit box. You can't change that once you're out on track. So basically we just sort of look at what it is, try to look at the RPM on the way into the corner and say, look, we need it to back in more, back in less. And it's a bit of a funny track here. Normally you would try to make the bike go in straight at most tracks, but here you've got to try to let it back in a bit to get the load off the front tyre.
Right, well, there you go. A little bit of insight into the R1 and the electronic package of it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take that and see what I can do. Thanks, Wayne.
A bit of fun there with Steve Martin and Wayne Maxwell. A quick look now at the Wakefield Park circuit. 2.2 kilometres established back in 1994. It's a real torture test for riders. It has plenty of everything. The local boy is Troy Herfoss. Here's more on him.
Another beautiful day here in Goulburn, New South Wales. So we've got Troy Herfoss with us today, and the reason that we're speaking to you, of course, is because this track behind us is the track that you did your very first road racing laps many years ago. I mean, what memories do you have of that?
Yeah, Steve, it's a great place for me. Like I said, I live over the hill. Grew up in Goulburn and loving motorcycles. I used to hear the bikes and come over on my BMX bike over the hill and watch. And as soon as I was old enough to talk my dad into letting me take his Supermoto bike out, I had on some warmers there and out trying it up for myself. And you know, it took me 3 or 4 laps to get the bug.
Well, mate, I'll tell you what, as you said, we're only a cane away from your house. Can you take me back there and let me have a look at some of your memorabilia?
Yeah, we've got some memories there. My dad loves collecting that stuff, so let's head on over there and have a look.
Let's go. Well, here we are, mate, and I've got to say, I mean, I'm pretty jealous. I look around, I see trophies everywhere. There's football trophies, soccer trophies, mountain bike trophies. It seems as though you've had a go at everything and you've been good at it in the past. Yeah,
as a kid I loved sports and was probably really competitive as a kid and now. So whatever was going on, I wanted to be involved. And yeah, I think if you try hard at everything, you're gonna go good eventually. But as a dirt tracker, I wanted to be an Australian champion, and when I was 16, I won the Australian Championship, and then went to the Supermoto and won the Australian Championship, and then I spent 3 years trying to win the Supermoto Championship. I'd done that, and then finally got to the main goal is road racing, and got the Supersport Championship, and now last year won a Superbike Championship. And then probably the only thing that I bailed out on was my trip to Europe, but an amazing experience. Just not exactly how I'd pictured it, and a hard road, and I respect everyone that's doing it. But at the moment I've shifted my goals and just enjoying racing the Australian Championship now.
If I look around, probably my most favourite trophy of the whole, the thousands that I see here is probably the one behind us, the Samurai Award that you got in 2010 when you won that championship. I mean, guys like Mick Doohan have won that. I mean, that must really mean something to you.
Yeah, it does. To have a group of people of importance in Australian motorcycle racing vote for a rider of the year and someone who's got potential, and vote for me, it was pretty cool. It's an award that I'll probably hold close to me when I get older, I'd say.
Weather conditions at Wakefield Park near Goulburn, good. For this, the second round of the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship. The bikes are heading out onto the circuit for race number 1 of 2. Let's recap the championship points at the completion of the Phillip Island round. That was the venue that got the title underway for season 2016. Alton, the winner of 3 races at the island. He leads in advance of Mike Jones and then Wayne Maxwell. Let's head down onto the grid. Jason Crump, now trackside with a very special guest.
It's amazing who you can find on the grid at some of these motorcycle races around the world. Road racing royalty, 1993 500 world champion Kevin Schwantz. What brings you to Wakefield Park in Goulburn?
Well, I was in Melbourne and I needed to get to Sydney, and somebody said there was a race on, so coming by Wakefield Park was the easy way to get here.
What do you think of this track? It's probably like some of the domestic tracks in America, obviously not quite up to the standard of Phillip Island as a Grand Prix track, but still a great venue for road racing.
No, absolutely. I was just talking to Troy about it. He says, yeah, it's bumpy in a bunch of spots. I said, yeah, but bumps make the really good guys even better. So, I like the tight layout. I like that you can see so much of it from one perspective. And looks like the competition's been great today, too.
What do you think of these Australian riders? You must know a few of the names, but there also must be a few that are new to you.
Yeah, the first couple rows, I think I know most of those guys' names anyway. I've known Herfoss for a couple years now from Supermoto back in America. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of young talent here, much like there is in America, that's just kind of an untapped market right now. And without any manufacturer support or much manufacturer support here, it's so hard to get them on into the World Championships, which is what we need to try and figure out how to do.
Thanks for your time, Kevin. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Yeah, great chat there. I can unashamedly say Kevin Schwantz, one of my all-time favourite riders. Let's go back to Jason.
Glenn, 3 from 3 at Phillip Island. What are you looking to do today?
Yeah, look, I want to win. But it's going to be a tough battle today. Bit of a bull ring going on at this track because it's tight, but it sort of suits the way that I ride. So can't wait to get out there and get into it against these two. We're all fairly evenly matched, so it's going to be a great race.
There's a bit of testosterone flying around amongst these boys. There's a bit of attitude going on.
Yeah.
You're pretty quiet, but you're pretty focused, I can see.
Yeah. Look, everybody wants to be the top dog, and yeah, quietly, I want to win this race. So once that light goes out, all bets are off, and we're going to go for it.
He's a redhead, so don't count him out. Good luck today, man. This is a story in itself just here. We've got Ben Burke, one of our genuine privateers on the Kawasaki here. Ben, bit of trouble through the week, I think, leading up to this with what was happening with your bike. We believe that this is truly your own private bike, correct?
Yeah, I still helped out with Kawasaki for these rounds. Unfortunately, the team can't make it where they're locked into their ASC commitments, so we're doing a privateer effort this weekend. Would have helped if we did a bit of testing, but we're 9th on the grid, so we're not too far off. We'll see how we go in the races.
There you have it, some of the latest from the grid ahead of race number 1. This to be conducted over 16 laps. Conditions good, a little bit breezy. Sun out at the moment. As you can see, a fair bit of cloud cover around. A very, very challenging track for the riders whose bikes have massive horsepower. This Wakefield Park circuit has a few bumps too to contend with. Here's the starting grid for the opening event as Herfoss, our pole sitter. Wayne Maxwell, Glenn Allerton sharing the front row with him. And Crew Halliday, Mike Jones and Anthony West drafted into the Crank Protein Honda team this weekend, replacing the injured Jamie Stauffer. Fouls on Elliot Burke, then Frost, Hampton and Senior, McIntyre, Berry, Chris Keane, Brendan Schmidt, Joel Beard, Nathan Spiteri, then Jason Ivkovic, Marsh and McGregor at the back of the grid. Steve Martin beside me, former World Endurance and National Superbike champion. Here we go now, start of race number 1. Can Herfoss lead to the first corner? He certainly cannot. Glenn Allerton on bike 14 shoots to the race lead, so he picks up where he left off at Phillip Island. They exit the first turn here at Wakefield Park and prepare for the charge through Pirelli. And West, good job by him on the Crank Protein Honda, up into second, and Crew Halliday is third.
Yeah, you've got to take your hat off to Anthony West. I mean, what a fantastic start. He's never ridden one of these superbikes before in Australia, and he's just jumped on that Honda, vacated by Jamie Stauffer, who was injured, and he's put it right up there, giving himself a good chance in the first superbike race he's been in a long time in Australia.
We ride on board the Desmo Sport Ducati, and you can see there that Herfoss on the Honda slipped up on the inside of Mike Jones, carrying our onboard camera. Now check out the rear wheel slide at the end of the back straight as they prepare for the right-hander. The final turn at Wakefield Park. It's a technical piece of riding that is an important part of the strategy here, Steve.
Yeah, it certainly is. We heard the boys talking about it over the weekend, that they actually use that rear wheel slide to turn the bike into the corners. The front sticks like glue and the rear slides and puts them in the right trajectory. So it's a little trick that boys like Maxwell out in front use to get the bike pointed in the right direction.
Allerton, what a season he is having. Wayne Maxwell has moved past his teammate, Crew Halliday. The black helmet of Wayne Maxwell now into third position on the racetrack. Wasn't overly happy with himself at Phillip Island in the opening round. Was getting away to poor starts and being forced to charge through from the back.
Yeah, he certainly was, but you know, if you'd ever expected to see Maxwell win, it was going to be there. But you know, his teammate Allerton really came to the fore there and won 3 in a row. So I'm sure that that's something that he's going to be trying to do here, and he's doing a good job out front at the moment.
Yeah, when I say charging through from the back, I mean from the back of the leading bunch as it was at Phillip Island. So these bikes full throttle, wide open down the Yamaha Motor Finance straight at Wakefield Park Raceway, lap 3 of 16. Glenn Allerton in advance of Ant West, then Wayne Maxwell and Crew Halliday. We look out the back of the Honda of Anthony West. That's Maxwell closing in.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for a way through on Anthony West. He's definitely got the corner speed up the inside. He's looking up the inside there. Pretty difficult place to pass here at Wakefield Park. It's very tight, very much a one-line track. Legs out there for some reason. We've got a red flag, Tappy.
Yeah, we've got a crash on the circuit. Red flags out. And very unfortunately, 3 riders down, including machine number 42. Ivkovic.
And Scott McGregor is down as well there.
Yeah, the race sail, here it is. Just catching the back end of the incident on that camera at the top of Yamaha Motor Finance Straight. So the race safety crew have attended to the riders. Crash crew have removed the debris from the circuit, and we are set for a race restart here in the opening race of the second round of the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship. This time, the Goulburn product, Troy Herfoss, goes to the front. Let's see if he can maintain the lead. Wayne Maxwell is in second. Here's Glenn Allerton having a look up the inside of Maxwell, but thought the better of it on that occasion as they go through the left and then the right at Pirelli. Ant West is next on the circuit, then Daniel Falzon and Crew Halliday.
Yeah, Herfoss has got to be very happy with that start, especially after the fluff that he made in the first part of this race. So Herfoss, a much better start out of the blocks this time round. On board with Crew Halliday. Halliday up the inside there. Good move by Crew. These onboard shots incredible this weekend.
Been many years since an official round of the Australian Superbike Championship has been staged at Wakefield Park. This venue does a tremendous job for so many different forms of motorsport. Oh, that's massive. It was Berry on bike 23 getting right out of shape on the entry to the right-hander and collected another bike on the way through.
Oh, they're getting serious up front at the moment too. Wayne Maxwell through on Anthony West.
There'll be a red flag here. There's got to be.
Yeah, the boys have got their legs out. Another red flag. Boy, what a melee this is turning out to be.
The other rider, Steve, on screen is McIntyre. Watch this again, nasty.
Yeah, there he is on 22, just turning in, and Berry's just tagged him on the back. Berry's gone in too deep under brakes, pulled on that brake lever as hard as he could. He was out of control and nailed the back of an unsuspecting McIntyre. So here it is again, bang. Not much you can do about that. It's a racing incident. Nobody meant for it to happen, but it's brought to a red flag, that race.
Luckily, it happened on a part of the circuit that features significant runoff area. Otherwise, it could have been very nasty indeed. So, third attempt to run this race now. And Herfoss got away okay. Maxwell in the centre on the front row of the grid beside Glenn Allerton. And Herfoss it is that leads. There's Fowles on another good start by him, but he's got the wrong line to challenge seriously for the lead at this point in time. No. Another three riders down. Jones and Halliday.
Yeah, Jones, Halliday. I think the other one might have been West. Anthony West is not there either. So three more riders down at the start of this race. I mean, that's just the nature of this circuit. It's such a tight little track, not many lines, and it's imperative that you get into turn one first, and that's what the boys are going for. They're going for that spot. 4 into 1 doesn't go, and I tell you what, it's another red flag.
Have you ever seen the start of a motor race like this?
No, I haven't, mate, but I'll tell you what, they're doing this for safety in this sport. We take that very seriously.
Absolutely. Officials ordering the competitors to the garage. Mike Jones, as you can see, is okay. Let's look at some replays now for Suzuki. And this is chaos, the likes of which I've not seen.
Yeah, on board there with Mike Jones. He's just gone up the inside and looked like he tagged the back of Ant West and collected the side of Crew Halliday, and is taking Crew Halliday out and Ant West out as well. So it looks like that might be the fault of the young Mike Jones from the Despo Sport. And here's another look. Tries to nip up the inside, takes out Halliday. Slides off and just tags also Anthony West, who didn't get away with it either.
It's not difficult for chaos to ensue when you've got a heap of powerful motorcycles all fighting for the same part of bitumen. There's Troy Bayliss, former triple world superbike champion. Some conjecture here, Mike Jones, his rider, won't be starting the rerun. Here's Jason Crump.
I ended up basically almost right up against that inside curb as hard as I can, and you know on most other circuits the inside curbs are quite flat. Which would allow for a little bit extra room for error there, but here there's none with those high curbs.
Yeah, I had inside line, just about to get on the throttle, just on the exit of turn one, and just got tapped from behind and just completely spun me out. So I had the inside line, so I know it wasn't my fault for sure, but those three restarts I think made everyone a bit nervous and a bit frustrated, and that's what can happen.
I was a little hesitant. It is a bit of a bottleneck in there, and I was just behind Wayne and Glenn, and next thing I know about it, I'm sliding on my backside going off the track. I think Mike Jones went in there a little too hot. I'm not sure what he was really thinking, but I'm trying to stay consistent, and you got other riders sort of thrown into the side here, which isn't the ideal thing. But you know, I was just trying to play it safe, but looks like you can't play it safe in that turn one. So you know, Elbow's going to be out next time, and you know, if he does it again, I'll give him a bit of a touch up.
Well, I wish Crew would say what he really means.
Yeah.
Here we are, the rerun. Race number 1, the 4th attempt. Please note the initial distance of 16 laps has been reduced to 12. Let's see what transpires here. 6 bikes very close together at the front of the pack. And can we get 1 lap completed here without there being drama? It's Herfoss the leader in advance of Allerton and Wayne Maxwell.
Yeah, good to see Herfoss once again getting another good start, and he'll be really glad to get these next 12 laps out of the way, especially if he can get to that finish line first. But Troy Herfoss, record-breaking super pole here this weekend, seems to be the man to beat, and he's got his cranked protein Honda out in front. And of course, Glenn Allerton, though, is the man on form, the man who's got the strength to pass at this circuit, probably more than others. He's very strong with the front end of that Yamaha. He's definitely in the right place to challenge.
Herfoss's time in Superpole 57.350. Right on board with Herfoss now, and here comes Allerton, about to make his presence felt on the official Yamaha R1, and up on the inside he goes through the right-hander at the end of the straight. Allerton, he's very, very hungry and looking the goods during the early stages of this season.
Yeah, he certainly is. On the Suzuki replay, we can get a good look from on board of Crew Halliday there. Anthony West, another great start from him through turn 1 and into this tighter turn 2. West out wide. He fell off there in race 1 at the first part of this race, and he's still not scared. And there's another relook on the Suzuki replay of the overtake from Glenn Allerton on Troy Herfoss.
Yeah, so Herfoss still tucked into second place, and you can see the 5 bikes up front very close together on this 2.2 kilometre Wakefield Park circuit. Halliday running 4th at this juncture of proceedings. We now look at Ant West doing a wonderful job this weekend. I mentioned earlier he's stepping in for the injured Jamie Stauffer, who had a nasty accident at Phillip Island and then backed that up with a big testing crash at this circuit during the days leading up to today's events.
Yeah, it's it's unfortunate for Jamie, but it's certainly given somebody like Anthony West a really good bike to be able to show what he's capable of. And to be able to sit on the pace of these guys just shows you what sort of a class rider he is. Hasn't got a lot of experience on Pirelli slicks, and you can just look at the rear wheel sliding there on the crank protein Honda. He's certainly given it the berries.
A rider running off the circuit, but no harm done. Will rejoin the race.
Yep, couldn't quite catch the number of that fellow, but he's certainly not running up near the front with the boys like Allerton. Nice tight line there by Herfoss as well.
Steve, as you know better than anybody, you had a long and distinguished career. Confidence is such an important component to success, and Allerton, he's got it in bucket loads right now.
Well, he certainly does, especially after what happened at Phillip Island. I mean, he proved to himself there that whether it's true or not, he proved to himself that he was the strongest guy under brakes and he could overtake anywhere. And that is why he's making it look so easy, these front-end passing manoeuvres. But I'll tell you what, David, it's not that easy. He's just making it look easy at the moment because of the confidence that he holds. And it's really making the other guys work hard to try and keep up with him.
So the 5 big budget factory bikes dominating the early stages of this race, lap 6 of 12, as it highlights round 2 of the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship continues. And you can see there the leading group of riders now coming up behind a slower bike that they prepare to lap. He does the right thing and at least maintained a sensible line through there. On board with Halliday, just as I've given the lap rider a rap for holding his line. He did anything but on the next corner.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well for Crew Halliday at all. He's out there. That was Baird on the
71 machine.
Yeah, on the number 71 machine. So he's not going to be a popular boy when they get back into the pits.
Yeah, Baird running a Kawasaki ZX-10R up front. Great battle here at Wakefield Park. Replay of that from a different angle.
Yeah, Baird didn't have much chance, to be fair to him. He had bikes going all around him. Westy, he was in the melee there and he got a bit of a scare. He stood it up. He should have just held his line, so definitely didn't help Crew Halliday.
Very frenetic action. Also on today's program, you'll see a couple of super sport races, highlights of production, and Moto 3 and an all-new class, the Yamaha R3 Cup.
Oh, we've got a faller.
Allerton, the leader.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for him. I mean, he's obviously uninjured, but he's lost a bag full of points, 25 points, and look, he can see it now.
Ah, the look says it all. Dusted, busted, and disgusted. Glenn Allerton. That hands the race lead to that man on screen. Troy Herfoss, the cranked protein Honda entry. A gap then back to Maxwell, and have a look who's coming out to get him. It's Ant West. A 5-star performance by this rider so far this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Here's another look at that. Just loses the front at the top of the circuit there on the Suzuki replay. And down goes Glenn Allerton, thrown away. Not a certain 25 points, but definitely a good shot at the podium.
Well, he's human after all. Been a stellar start to 2016. But it came apart at the seams late in race number 1. So Herfoss is cruising out in front. We cut back and look at Allerton pushing his bike away in forlorn fashion. Now the wide shot, you can see Ant West going through there too. Oh, Wayne Maxwell's down too. Now Wayne Maxwell is down in the same spot that his teammate Glenn Allerton dropped the Yamaha. Can you believe this? What a crazy race.
Oh, he's joined his best mate in the same spot, hasn't he? That's not a good day for the Yamaha team so far. Very unfortunate for them. But Anthony West is pretty happy about all this because he's pretty much a guaranteed podium now if he can just hold it together. Crew Halliday looks like he'll pick up a podium if he can keep it together too.
Yeah, little fortuitous. He was a fair way back, Crew, but now finds himself in 3rd position. It's right on board with Braden Elliott here on the Nobby Underwear Suzuki. Fine young talent, great onboard shot.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he's one of the cleanest living kids that you'll see, and his bike is always in immaculate presentation. He's going to go a long way in this sport, is Braden Elliott.
Yeah, of course, he dominated Supersport in 2015, steps up to the big bikes this year, and it's proving a challenge for him, as everyone knew it would do. Similar circumstances to what Daniel Falzon endured last season.
Yeah, he's up for the challenge though, is the man from New South Wales. He's definitely up for the challenge. He's got a lot of good people behind him, Phil Tainton and also Sean Giles on his side. So if anybody can make it, he will.
So lap 10 of 12 now, race leader Herfoss onto Yamaha Motor Finance straight, and he is well clear. And do you think he won't derive some satisfaction out of this? Should he charge to the checkered flag on his home track in front of his friends and family, it will be very, very meaningful. Bike 88, meantime, Brendan Schmidt has a moment, but he safely gets back onto the racing line.
Yeah, I mean, this is a moment that he can savour. It's been a hard win if he gets across that finish line. Not far to go, but and that's Maxwell trying to get his bike back to the pit box on the last lap as he enters the pit lane. But looks like it's all Troy Herfoss from here.
Indeed. So Herfoss is going to get the job done here. We saw a shot there of Nick Marsh on the Aprilia, and Herfoss charging for home now. And the final lap of Wakefield Park coming up. Ant West, there he is in 2nd place.
Yeah, it's a long way back to Halliday as well. A long way back to Crew Halliday in 3rd position. Not too much pressure on him at the moment. So it was an exciting race up to this point as they start the final lap, but it looks like the positions are pretty settled. Benny Burke there just behind Falzon as well on the Kawasaki ZX-10R. And there's Braden Elliott. This will be his best result of the year as well if he can hold it to the line.
Falzon runs in 4th position on the Caterpillar JD Racing Yamaha YZF-R1. Ben Burke, a stellar effort by him on the Kawasaki. In 5th position, just in front of this man, Braden Elliott, whom we ride on board with again. Love this shot because it gives our viewers an insight into the athleticism of these riders and what is required on the left-right flick and manhandling the bike.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to see how physically fit you have to be when you ride these machines, but probably the fittest man out there at the moment, this man here, Troy Herfoss, and he's about to take his first victory of the year.
Yeah, got time for a look over the shoulder once but twice, and shuts the throttle down, cruises to an effortless victory in race 1 at Wakefield Park, and that will be a popular victory. Ant West, excellent effort in 2nd position. You can see Falzon blasting through, followed by Burke, and then Elliott, Sloan Frost, Ryan Hampton rounding out the top 8. We'll recap all the placings for you in a moment. Congratulations to Troy Herfoss. Look, sure, a little fortuitous as a result of the demise of Allerton firstly, and then of course Maxwell. They were both very prominent in the race at the time they fell. Well, Allerton was leading, wasn't he? As you look at the race results in the shortened opening race, completed or contested over 12 laps after the chaos that reigned supreme in the first 3 attempts of running the race. Another Superbike event to come later on today's show, as well as Supersport and the other classes I have alluded to. It's a big, big program on Fox Sports. Let's hear from the top 3.
I felt good at the start of the race. I ran the pace of the front guys, but some of these lappers need to really understand the rules. And blue flag means get out of the way, not charge for a corner, and push one of the front guys off. So I think that guy needs to have a proper look at himself. But other than that, the bike worked flawlessly. The tyre degradation's amazing. We were struggling here at the start of the weekend, but we've come good for race day and bring home some good points.
Just happy to be here and having fun riding this Honda. It's definitely different to ride. Thanks to Crank Protein and Honda Australia for letting me come out for this weekend and have a bit of burn with these guys. It's they're fast out here and having fun racing them.
Troy Herfoss, you've taken the championship lead by 2 points. You've got a lap record and you've got a race win. Doesn't come much better than that.
No, it doesn't get any better. It's so nice to get out there and there's no grey area. We've got the strongest package, and I was just able to be so patient there behind Glenn, and I just started to lower the lap time and really apply some pressure, and unfortunately tucked the front there, but we're all pushing so hard, and I hope they're both okay.
Thanks for being with us on Fox Sports, Australia's sports leader. Honda dominating the opening race. Let's go down to Steve Martin.
If you're after a premium product, have a look at the CBR 1000 SP. This is a beautiful piece of kit. Honda make 2 versions of the CBR. They make this version, the SP, and the standard version. What makes this one special, of course, is its Brembo brakes, its Öhlins front forks, Öhlins rear shock, and of course it's got a lot more power than the standard version. All that comes at a price though, $22,900 for this bike. If that's a little bit out of your price range though, you might want to come and have a look at this. This is the standard model of the CBR. It's still got about 90% of the DNA of the special SP version over there, and it's still very, very trick. But instead of the Öhlins forks, it has shower front suspension, which is still very good. Instead of the Brembo brakes, it has Takiko front brakes, which still make this bike a very good option, especially if you can't afford the SP. $16,900 saves you a lot of dollars and gives you a lot of money in your pocket if you want to add on an exhaust pipe or some race tyres or something like that. Right, let's have a crack on this thing and see what it can do. Well, here we go, down the main straight, if you can call it a straight here at Wakefield Park, on the Honda CBR 1000, and into turn 1, hard on the brakes here, tip it in, a little bit early there, got that, nice apex, and it's pretty bumpy here, but this shower suspension, although it's not the shower suspension on the SP, this shower suspension is really working well. It's soaking up all the bumps, and you know what? Yes, it doesn't have the same power as the SP model, but it's still got plenty of grunt to get you out of these slow corners. The chassis, I love the way the chassis feels. This track, it's tight, it's twisty, it's bumpy, but you know what? This bike is staying on line. The Takiko brakes, they're also working fine. Okay, perhaps they're not quite as good as the Brembos on the SP, but this thing stops on a dime. Side to side, it feels really good. The way that it changes direction, over the bumps, there we go. And then once again, hard on the brakes and into the final turn here for my last stint up the straight. Through first, second, third gear, okay. The DNA on this thing is amazing. It's very similar to the SP. Wow, that was an experience. Even though it's not the SP model, you can still certainly have a lot of fun on this thing. This is a great bike. If you can't get the SP, have a good look at this one.
The 600 Supersport class will contest its first event of 2 this afternoon in just a moment. Ahead of the start of the race, here's Jason Crump.
Let's have a word with the pole position man, Sam Clark. Sam, you were very consistent through the practice run and put yourself on pole position. You must be looking forward to the first race today.
Yeah, I've come in here hoping that I can come out on top, and starting off with a pole position is always a good way to start. It's a long race, and we've been working on the fitness, so hopefully we can do our best, and hopefully we come out on top.
Who's the rider you're looking at for the biggest challenge today?
The problem is they're all competitors, so you've got 2 on my right here, Troy, and there's even Callum back on 6th. It's only like 2 tenths off me, so it's a close field, and just got to take the race as it comes.
Thank you very much, and good luck for today.
Let's check the starting grid now for this first of 2 Supersport events, and this will be a 16-lap race. And Sam Clark is your pole sitter. Troy Gunther and Cambridge Oliver, they occupy the front row here at Wakefield Park. Then Luke Mitchell and Benny Blythe. Callum Spriggs, he's well worth watching on bike number 50. Chris Quinn on 82. Then Giuseppe Scarcella, Menzies, Collins, Cox, Limonton, Shaw, Kyoto. Then it's Matty Price, Bellings, Maggs, Russell, Spinks, Lee, Wilson, Russell and Ruffley. It's a very big field of Supersport, a tremendous category. One of the best in the world. Of course, Supersport has its own World Championship. There is Sam Clark, our pole sitter, whom Jason Crump spoke to earlier. And we are underway, looking forward to this one with no little expectation. And it was Clark best to begin on bike 36. Have a look at the challenges through Motul corner the first time. The right-hander, and they stretch their legs onto the back straight.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic race with these 600s. You might think that they'd be slow around this circuit compared to the big bikes, but they do lap in a very similar lap time, just a couple of seconds off the pace of the big boys. And that's due to the nature of this tight circuit. They can carry good corner speed, and they're all very evenly matched.
Luke Mitchell is second. Troy Gunther, the Queenslander, tucks into 3rd position. Sam Clark out in front and consistent with his qualifying effort. He is the benchmark in Supersport so far this weekend. We're riding with Ben Blythe. He is currently occupying 4th position on the racetrack on the Yamaha YZF R6.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of good riders in this field that are young and hungry and are going to be ones to watch for the future. I mean, Sam Clark all the way from Western Australia, Luke Mitchell as well, and Troy Gunther, the 17-year-old. Definitely some of the outstanding young talent that we've got that are making their way through the field.
Supersport on our coverage presented by Motul as a major support category to the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship. The leading riders exiting Pirelli turn and now through Shark Corner at Wakefield Park. Again on board with Ben Blythe. He's been bumped back a spot and now rides in 5th position.
Yeah, good job there by Ben Blythe in the Race Centre R6. Yamaha, of course, lots of different brands out there, Kawasaki's, Yamahas and the odd Honda and of course Suzuki. So all the major manufacturers are out there, as well as Triumph with Mark Kyoto. So everyone having a fair run, and you can just go to the shop. Doesn't matter what brand you like, they're all competitive in this class.
Indeed. So Sam Clark, the West Australian, the Bantam Racing entry Kawasaki. Up front, you can see tucked in behind the screen Luke Mitchell in 2nd spot, followed in 3rd by Troy Gunther. So we have a West Australian leading a New South Welshman and a Queenslander.
On board with Benny Blythe again, and just up behind one of the other bikes. But look at how bumpy it is there with Sam Clark. Clark, you're doing a great job out front at the moment. A little bit of a gap back to the man in 2nd place, Luke Mitchell.
Great development Class 2, the Supersport. A number of noteworthy riders at the top level of the sport have come through the Supersport ranks. On board here with Kyoto, the Repsol Triumph team on the Suzuki replay. And that is serious traffic congestion just after the start.
Yeah, if you remember Mark Kyoto, he was on for a podium at Phillip Island. I think he might have got one in the end, but he had a couple of crashes. There he is on the number 12 bike on the outside. Got a great start, but you can't start from that far back and expect to be up with the leading bunch.
Of course, Mark's dad, John, has been an integral part of this sport for many years.
Certainly helped a lot of careers along the way, has John Kyoto.
Yep. So imports, as we now look further back in the pack, bike number 25, that's Ben Blythe. We've had several onboard shots emanating from that machine. and he leads the pack of riders that are disputing 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th positions on the racetrack at this time, and it's a good battle.
Yeah, it definitely is a great battle out front at the moment. I mean, look at these boys. You don't get much closer than that on track. Just trying to find the weakness to get through. There's a couple of Ben Henry's boys in that group as well. That looks like it could be Callum Spriggs.
Yeah, and like it is Callum Spriggs. Yep, on the black machine, bike number 50, chasing Blythe hard out of Suzuki turn.
Giuseppe Scarcerella also in that group on the Honda there on the number 47 machine at the back. He's a good young hard charger out of Sydney as well, doing a great job to be able to hang on to these guys. He's a real privateer, is Scarcerella, on the Honda CBR.
Across the start-finish line, Blythe leading that pack. Battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th.
And Spriggs is certainly looking for a way through there. Oh, a bit of a moment there for our leader, Sam Clark. Just you saw his foot come off the foot peg there for a second. That wasn't to indicate a red flag. He just lost the front for a second there. That just goes to show you how hard he's pushing that Kawasaki ZX6. Got to come a long way to go to a racetrack, does Sam Clark, all the way from Western Australia. That bike goes backwards and forwards across the Nullarbor for every race meeting on the Eastern Coast. So these boys take this racing serious, and when they come to the East Coast, they don't come to finish 5th, they come to win.
Indeed. Now look at this. The second place rider, Luke Mitchell, the New South Welshman on the Yamaha YZF R6. Chases Sam Clark on the Kawasaki ZX6R. Across the start-finish line, and on the main straight you can see there that Clark definitely had more horsepower than Luke Mitchell, but Mitchell is very good across the back of the circuit.
Yeah, he is, and once again that's the different assets of the different bikes. The Kawasaki notoriously has a little bit more grunt than perhaps the Yamaha. The Yamaha is a sweet handling chassis, so they make their time up different parts of the circuit. Sam Clark, you can see once again the bumps on that ZX6 there, absorbing the bumps, and we've got Luke Mitchell just behind him trying to get closer, but there's a bit of a gap developing now, Tappy.
Yeah, there certainly is. So the gap between second and third is of course 65 Troy Gunther, the Queenslander. Well, that shot shows it adequately. First and second go through. Here's Gunther.
Yeah, Troy's, it's good to see him up there as well. He's only 17 years old and he's fairly new to the scene. Did a little bit of racing in Japan, of course. We're back with the race centre YZ6 now, R6 of Benny Blythe. He's holding off a melee of guys behind him. Callum Spriggs trying to get past anytime he can. We've got also 81, Cambridge Oliver, the young New South Welshman as well. He's having a very good ride on the YRD Yamaha.
Wonderful battle. Ben Blythe leads this snarling pack. The battle for 4th position you are watching. Blythe aboard the Bullen Health and Fitness snap-on tools. The Yamaha YZF. He hails from Victoria.
Yeah, he looks like he's starting to struggle a bit now compared to Callum. Callum was a lot faster through the top of the circuit there, and he's in a very attacking position now as Callum Spriggs. But hard on the brakes goes Blythe and opens that up. Oh, a bit of a moment there. Bit of a moment there for Blythe. Yeah. And another moment, maybe his tyres are gone. Spriggs up the inside and makes the move through. Runs wide, but holds the position as they head onto that mini back straight into the last turn there.
Yeah, Blythe was breaking traction, rear end of the machine, a couple of times there in the space of 100 metres.
Yeah,
and that's all that Spriggs needed to gain the ascendancy. So bike 50 charges into 4th position as they drag down the Yamaha Motor Finance straight.
And if you ever need an indication to slow down, that's it. You get those little bits of movement, David. As soon as you get it, you can see it there again, like Blythe's bike is all over the place, and that's telling you need to slow down.
Good battle as we see first and second, and then a Suzuki replay of Callum Spriggs.
Yeah, and have a look at the back end there. That's what that is all about. Look at the back end moving around on that thing there. That is definitely losing a lot of grip on the back of Ben Blythe's machine there.
Yeah, and that was the problem he had that enabled Callum Spriggs to move up one spot and overtake him. So the leading riders head back onto Yamaha Motor Finance straight, and look at this now. Sam Clark is under siege by the flying Luke Mitchell. New South Wales rider has closed the gap up appreciably. Up until this point of the race, we've generally seen the leader on the Kawasaki charging away on the main straight. I reckon he's got a problem with his rear tyre too. Look at the bike moving around on machine 36.
Well, they all do start to move around, especially after about 10 laps. I mean, they do start to slide, and normally on a smooth circuit, you don't see the amount of movement that you get because it gets into a smooth slide and then it will just keep drifting. But here, because it's so bumpy, you get that slide going, David, and then you hit a bump and it grips and it kicks back, and that's what they're all dealing with out there at the moment. So it's going to be a bit of a bull ride to the end.
Now, interestingly here, the leading two riders are coming up on lap traffic. You can see bikes 26 and 24. They're aware the fast two boys are coming through. Look, change of lead. Luke Mitchell goes to the front. Well, I don't think you can blame the lap traffic for that. Clearly, Sam Clark has just had a momentary lapse of concentration and a change of leader with Luke Mitchell in front now.
Yeah, and great move up the inside there, and that definitely hasn't worked out for Sam Clark either. He's got held up big time there by the back markers, and that's allowed Luke Mitchell to make a bit of a break, and there's not many laps left in this one, so it's going to be hard. Look at that braking into there. That's the last turn here at Wakefield Park. Up the inside goes Luke Mitchell to take the lead.
Brendan Wilson and Matty Price were the two riders that had the leading two bearing down on them. And now we approach the last racing lap in this opening Supersport race presented by Motul.
We've got a red flag. We've got a red flag.
Again.
Gee, this racetrack, it makes some very tight racing.
Yeah, it's taking its toll. And there's the reason bike number 32.
It's roughly.
Yeah, has had a big moment. That bike has been seriously torn up.
Yes.
Luckily, the rider is okay. So the race declared, and that's a fair enough decision. There was only one lap remaining anyway.
But it goes back a lap. Sam Clark was leading over the line, which means Sam Clark is your winner.
Good point. Yeah, as the rules dictate, when a race is declared, it goes back to the racing lap prior to the red flags. So Sam Clark getting the win in advance of Luke Mitchell, Gunther Spriggs, Blythe, Oliver, Scarcella, Collins, Menzies, Kyoto. And then from positions 11 through to 20, you can see on screen with Brad Shaw. That bike has been seriously damaged in that incident. Let's head downstairs and hear from the top three.
The pace towards the end was not too bad. Just the first few laps I could have been a bit better, but got a clear direction for the next race, and I can't thank the Graffiti Alley Yamaha team enough. They set the bike up really well for Pirelli tyres, and yeah, can't wait for the next one.
I was sticking with Sam right there for the whole race, and I was getting closer and closer, made a little mistake, got back onto his back wheel, and we come through the lappers, and I thought I better make my move now so I don't leave it too late if I make a mistake or anything. So I made it, thought I was getting there, and then the red flag come out.
Red flags is part of the thing in racing, so we're going to take it. But I would like to win fair and square. I did lead most of the race, but it's a hard track to do 16 laps on. I've been working on my fitness, but all in the arms on this track. So pins and needles didn't help in my arms, and I kind of just went into cruise control trying to save my energy. But Luke rode strong, and we're going to take it as a positive, getting a thirst. And we'll go back to the pits, have a rest, and then come back strong, hopefully.
Sean Giles is a name synonymous with motorcycle racing in Australia after a glittering career that spans several decades. The former 3 times national Superbike champion was recently made an official ambassador of the Elite National Series by the sport's peak body Motorcycling Australia. Not surprisingly, Giles is a staunch supporter of road racing's premier event and is firmly focused on helping to develop young talent.
While I've been racing for Suzuki and when I was racing there, I always wanted to try and help the young guys learn as much information as possible to try and get a stepping stone to go overseas, to go on and do what their goals were. And, worked with Troy Herefos, even Damien Cudlin rode for the Suzuki team in the early days, and Robbie Bugden and guys like that. So I always tried to help them.
Giles believes the support he provided his young teammates over a long period is perhaps his most significant legacy.
I probably should have been a little bit more about me and kept a lot of the secrets, but I always felt that, if I could benefit both of us and get 2 Suzukis up there on the podium, that it was better for Suzuki and give the benefit to the younger guy to hopefully go on and try and win a world championship.
Giles enjoyed a distinguished career, but despite his well-documented success, Sean does have regrets.
I wish that I probably stayed over there when I went over in 1996. I went over and did a couple of World Superbike rides for the All-Starry team, which they were running a Ducati back then. At the time, I was a little bit down because every time I hopped on the bike there was oil coming out and I wasn't comfortable with that.
Meantime, Giles says he's very confident the Australian Superbike Championship is in very good hands, and he considers his role as an official ambassador a massive honour.
I've had an MA licence for a long time now, but why not be affiliated? And MA do a lot for the sport. A lot of riders don't really understand what they do for the sport, but for road racing, they put a lot of effort in. We've got air fences around the circuit, and a lot of the riders probably don't realise how much effort that is, and doing the safety inspections at the track and that. But it's fantastic being an ambassador, and hopefully I can do what's worthwhile.
In addition to being an official ambassador for the Asbk, Sean Giles is actively mentoring reigning Australian Supersport champion Braden Elliott, who in 2016 has made the step up to the elite Superbike class.
It's fantastic working with the Elliots, with Braden especially, but the whole family and the whole team works really well together. Obviously he's come from dirt track, and we all know how good dirt track is for a base for road racing. I think in his second year at road racing he won the Australian Supersport Championship, and now he's stepped up to the Superbikes. A little bit of learning to do, but I'm sure once he gets a hold of that he'll leap forward like he is. He's only 21, so he's got plenty of time there to go and seek what he wants to do. Obviously he wants to go and race overseas again, so I'm sort of dealing with that, but I'm not racing against him now, so I can give him as much information as possible.
Meanwhile, Giles' star pupil Braden Elliott is making fantastic progress in the sport. He began racing motorcycles at 4 years of age, and after spectacular success racing on the dirt, he made the transition to road racing.
I always had a bit of a passion for road racing, always watching MotoGP and Superbikes, and always wanted to get out there and give it a go. I never really had the opportunity, and lucky enough I got to meet Phil Tayton, who was working on my dirt bikes at the time, who we always went down there and I seen the road bikes and took so much interest in it. Then when I turned 16 I got my apprenticeship, got my own sort of money, and I brought myself a street bike, and from there I enjoyed the road bike, so I sold that, brought myself a track bike. It's definitely all happened quick, probably a little bit quicker than what we all expected, but I feel like I'm picking it up well, as long as I can keep improving and moving forward. I think it'll be great.
Another major asset in Elliott's corner is Phil Tayton, one of the most respected figures in Australian motorcycle racing. If Tayton hasn't won it, it's not worth winning.
Look, with the help of Phil, I think it was when he stepped down from the race team and running that, he still wants to be involved in racing, and I think it's in his blood, it will always be, and to be able to come into a family-backed team and without the pressure and everything else that goes on, he enjoys it. And we really enjoy having him.
Being essentially a privateer in the sport's biggest championship presents massive financial challenges for Elliott's team, who don't have the backing and resources of the big factory operations. But Braden says he's confident of achieving some success this season, whilst also acknowledging the help of his dedicated family.
I definitely owe everything that goes on behind the scenes and everything that people can see we've got set up at the track. More than anything, I owe it to my family. They've put in so much work to be able to make this possible for me, and as well as that, there's a lot of small businesses and companies that help me out behind the scenes. So it's a huge credit to my family, and when you turn up to the track and we're able to put in a good display and have some competitive bikes, I'd like to be able to be up there and give it to the factory guys and do what I can to learn from them and be able to show that we are a competitive team and we've got what it takes.
Thanks for joining us on Fox Sports and our coverage in round 2 of the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship from Wakefield Park near Goulburn. Now time on the program for a quick recap of some of the other classes. We start, Steve Martin, with Moto 3 and their final race of the weekend. Look, not a big field by any means, but very high on quality.
Definitely a lot of winners out there. Taylor Ralph as well, of course, and Brian Houghton, the older statesman, showing the boys and girls the way around. Of course, Lockie Taylor from Queensland, under the wing of Gary McCoy as well, out there as well. So, you know, there's a lot to learn in this class, and it's still a good class for these younger guys to make a name for themselves and head towards, you know, the future.
Lockie Taylor is only 14 years of age.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible, these kids, how they get out there, and this is the perfect class for that.
Brian Horton, the winner in the final race for Moto 3 of the weekend. Here he is with Mark Brax.
You did, perfect score, pole position, 3 wins, extend you to lead in the championship, and a good way to leave here and head to Eastern Creek in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, that's brilliant. The K1 machine, again, performed faultlessly. Tyres were good. Lattice Transport put me here again. And Castrol lubricated me, so that was all very good.
Coming home with second after you know, a not so good round at Phillip Island, you know, I've really gained some vital points for the rest of the series, so you know, can only get better from here.
Yeah, mate, it's good to come away with the third, but bad luck to little Lockie. He's been riding great all weekend. I've give it all to him, but we'll take it home. We'll look at the books and go right through it. We're a bit further back than we'd like to, but hey, we come away with the third, so we're happy with that.
Okay, let's check the championship point score in Moto 3 at the completion of 2 rounds, and the veteran Horton leading on 139 points in advance of Taylor Ralph, Lockie Taylor, then Whiteside, Leonard, Edwards, Cavney, Barton, Skier and Keogh. Now a quick look at production, and a mighty class it is as well, and some highlights of their final race for the weekend. And unlike Moto 3, a massive field of bikes.
There's certainly a massive field of bikes in this class, and they're not all Kawasaki's as they have been in the years gone by. The R3 is also out there now, and as you can see, there's a lot of action to be had as well. Lots of different fallers. Of course, that was Toe Paris, who didn't make it through the last turn there, but we're seeing that all through the weekend, how close the racing is, and especially in this little class.
Yeah, it was Brandon Demery of the Yamaha R3 320 machine that was able to get the job done in the final race of production for the weekend. Reid Batty from New South Wales aboard the Kawasaki Ninja 300 in second spot on bike number 33, and very close to in the top 3 was Samuel Condon, another New South Welshman, and another rider crashing in that event was Jack Dawes from New South Wales on the Yamaha R3. But Brandon Demery, he cleared out and comfortably led Reid Batty and Samuel Condon, who were disputing second place as the checkered flag flew. However, Brandon Demery proving far too good, and he was able to defeat his nearest rival by 2.6 seconds.
Brandon Demery taking out the over 300 category. Well done, Brando.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. I'm pretty happy with it. The whole team worked their butt off, and I can't thank them enough. Everybody worked so hard that, you know, it's without an awesome crew, you can't really win races, can you? So can't thank them enough.
Boys have put together a great package with the R3 Cup bikes. Brando's done an awesome job to take out the round win straight up. We'll work on it for next round, and we'll try push up further to the field and give Brando a run for his money on these R3 bikes.
One of our other main points this weekend is get the points, because last year we basically lost the championship on one race in the first round, so it was just good to collect a podium. That was what we wanted this weekend.
Yeah, well done to the top 3, and here's the championship points in production at the completion of round 2, and Reid Batty shows the way on 67 points. You can see how close it is. Samuel Condon is next on the Kawasaki, then Sells, Johnson, and so forth. Now, a new class for season 2016 is the Yamaha R3 Cup. These bikes all identical, and we're going to show you a highlights package of their final race of the weekend too. And there's the grid. Ford on pole, Levy, Alderson, Hayes, Lynch, King, Doyle, Minahan, Foster, Mason, Moore, Devsinski and Meridian rounding out this 13 bike field. Ford on the right hand side of screen, and we are racing in the Yamaha R3 Cup class at Wakefield Park this weekend, and Levy A rider that is from a family steeped in motorcycle tradition takes the lead, Zach Levy.
Yeah, good to see Zach Levy out there in this all-new class with the Yamaha R3. A great initiative from MA and Yamaha to come up with this class. I think it's exactly what Australia needs to get these young guys out on exactly the same machines so that bikes and money don't come into it. Turn up at the track and away you go.
Yeah, touch over $7,000 to get into this class and go racing in an ultra-competitive formula. There's an old saying in motor racing, a control formula is a good formula.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is in this case, David, because these guys are all on identical bikes for $7,900. They can buy one of these through Yamaha Motor Finance, and you can get it on a finance package deal as well. Turn up at the track and race for the whole year, and keep the bike at the end of it with all the road gear, and have a nice road bike as well. So it's a really great initiative to get all of our younger guys out there. And not only that, if you don't have a lot of money, you can actually race at a very cheap level. The tyres last a long time. You don't have to buy 3 or 4 sets of tyres for the weekend. You just get on the bike, ride it round, and they don't wear out.
Big thanks to Yamaha Motor Finance, principal sponsor of the Australian Superbike Championship, and with assistance from Yamaha Motorcycle Insurance, Pirelli and Motul. And here's Zach Levy leading a Bike 20 Hunter Ford. Hunter hails from New South Wales, as does Zach. Zach's grandfather, Bob Levy, a name synonymous with motorcycling in Australia, won the Australian Speedway Sidecar Championship and the Australian Road Racing Sidecar Championship. And to the best of my knowledge, he's the only person to have ever done that.
Wow, that's incredible. There's a Suzuki replay of the start of the race, a nice clean start. Of course, these bikes don't have anywhere near the power of their bigger brother, the R1. So it's probably a little bit easier to get through turn 1 and turn 2 here at Wakefield Park.
As the laps tick over here in this highlights package, it is still Zach Levy.
Looks like Zach Levy got the balance gene that his dad never had, or great-grandfather never had.
His grandfather, Bob.
Grandfather, Bob. Well, I'll tell you what.
Who will be watching our coverage.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I'll tell you what, though. Levy is doing an absolutely fantastic job out there in front on the number 87 machine. Got himself a nice little lead at the moment with Ty Lynch, of course, from South Australia, just making his way up into second place there, nearly. Ty Lynch, the South Australian, another youngster trying to forge his way forward in this hard sport of motor racing.
Yeah, Callum Alderson is also prominent on Bike 58. That's Callum in second spot, riding the Blue Gorilla Sign Pro. Obviously Yamaha YZF R3 through Shark Turn here at Wakefield Park. Conditions are really ideal for motor racing.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're excellent, not windy, good track grip, and it's good to get out there and race. But I'll tell you what, Ty Lynch having a bit of a hard time there in the background, because it looks like Aidan Hayes right behind him wanting to try and get through.
Current temperature here at Wakefield Park around 23 degrees. Track temperature around 35 degrees. Hosting this red-hot motorcycle competition across the weekend. Back down Yamaha Motor Finance Straight, our leading group of riders charged for what will be the last lap in this Yamaha R3 Cup race. Their third and final race of the weekend. In support to the big bikes. And a lot of people walking around pit lane making glowing complimentary comments about this class, and the standard of the racing we've seen this weekend has been excellent.
Yeah, absolutely, David. I mean, as we said, it's it's a class that we needed, and I'm glad that Motorcycling Australia and Yamaha have been able to pull it off and put this together on the grid. And I'm sure it's a class that we're going to see grow and grow and grow, and help young guys like this man, number 87, Zach Levy out front, prove to the rest of the world what he can do.
The fastest lap in this race recorded by Callum Anderson, 1 minute 9.282 seconds. But that not enough to stop the Zach Levy juggernaut, who has carried all before him this weekend in the Yamaha R3 Cup class.
And Hunter Ford just behind him, of course, and then Ty Lynch in that leading four, all very similar in speed.
So Zach Levy then charges down the main straight and takes the checkered flag in the Yamaha R3 Cup, defeating Callum Alderson in the end. And Levy understandably delighted with that. Outstanding weekend for him. As we recap, the top place getters: Levy, Alderson, Ford, Ben Lynch, Hayes, King, Boyle, Foster, Depsainski, Mason, and Moore, rounding out the 11 that did finish the race. Cool. Entertaining stuff by the Yamaha R3 Cup, a class with a big future, and I've got no doubt the numbers on the grid will swell in the rounds going forward. There's Bob Levy there, his granddad on the left-hand side of screen, the man I alluded to. He was a dead-set champion on the dirt and the tar. Let's hear from Zach Levy right now with Mark Grace.
You had to fight for that one as well, because both Callum and Hunter were all over you.
Yeah, that was a good one. I knew I couldn't get away again, so I let Callum get in front and then see what pace he had, and I just chased him down, followed his line for a bit, made me move at the right time and tried to pull a gap, but I knew I couldn't really get away, so I just tried to hold my line, and yeah, it worked.
Big boost of confidence you need with 3 weeks to go through the next round at Eastern Creek.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely good to get a round win after it's been so long on a bike, but yeah, I look forward to next round.
Yeah, the next round comes your way from Sydney Motorsport Park at Eastern Creek in Sydney, and you'll see that right here on Fox Sports. There's the championship points at the completion of this weekend's round of racing in the R3 Cup. Zach Levy on 75 points and a clear leader at this point in time. Well, Glenn Allerton, he is one of the guns in the Australian Superbike Championship, a clean sweep at Phillip Island. If you saw the start of the show today, he was leading race 1 and then crashed, and Jason Crump spoke with him.
Yamaha's return to Australian Superbikes couldn't have really gone much better than it did at Phillip Island.
Yeah, aside from pole position, it was a perfect start. You know, to go there with no testing at the last minute, to be a part of the Asbk at Phillip Island with the World Superbike round was amazing. And then we came out on top, which was, you know, we do all the hard work behind the scenes to try and win, so it's not unexpected, but in the situation, it was a little bit unexpected to be that competitive, and to take all 3 wins and 75 points was a dream start for Yamaha Racing Team.
Well, you say pole position. Of course, you didn't quite get pole position, but your teammate Wayne Maxwell did. So actually across the board, it was a perfect weekend for Yamaha Racing. And you know, you've brought a few different elements to the series. You've come in and you've got your Dunlop tyres, which are a little bit different than everybody else, and you showed right off the bat that you were on the money.
Yeah, absolutely. The Yamaha team, we always run Dunlop. So, you know, Pirelli's been dominant in Asbk, and it was pretty common knowledge that they had a really good Phillip Island tyre, and there was some doubt about the Dunlop for Phillip Island, but we had a new tyre, and that pretty much put that doubt to bed. We had a great tyre over 10 laps at Phillip Island, and we really showed everybody that all those doubts were wrong.
Right now, Supersport on the grid for this class's second race of the weekend. An epic battle between Clark and Mitchell in the opening event. Here's Jason Crump.
Second place rider from event 1 was Luke Mitchell. He was a little bit unfortunate there. He'd overtaken Sam Clark to go into the lead. But obviously with the red flag coming out, the race result was taken back a lap. So let's grab a quick word. Luke, a little bit unlucky with the result in race 1. Got to be feeling pretty confident though for the start of race 2.
Yeah, as you said, a little bit unlucky, but that's the way it is. That's the way it goes. We're ready for this one. Got new tyres in, so we're ready for it. Take the fight to Sam, and yeah, 100% confident I can stick there for the race and put it to him. So.
Well, it looked like Sam tried to get away in the early part of the race, but you actually clawed him back and managed to get past him, and you actually gapped him in that first half a lap you were in front.
Yeah, he tried to pull away, and I just stayed at my pace I knew I could do. I didn't want to use up all my stuff early, so I just plugged away at it, got past him, and then unfortunately the red flag come out. So yeah, but we're ready for this one. We'll give it a go.
Good luck. Enjoy your race.
Jason Crump with a determined Luke Mitchell there. Well done to Jason. 3 times World Speedway champion, an integral part of our coverage here throughout 2016. As is the man beside me, Steve Martin, former World Endurance champion, former National Superbike champion. A glittering international career. You must be struggling being a normal person living in one place now as we look at the grid. And Sam Clark to start on pole on the Kawasaki. Greg Gunther and Cambridge Oliver occupying the front row of the grid along with Sam. Luke Mitchell, Ben Blythe, Callum Spriggs on the Kawasaki. Chris Quinn, then Scarcella, Menzies, Collins, Cox, and Limerton out of P12. Followed further back by Brad Shaw Macchiato, Matty Price, Bellings, Maggs, Russell, Spinks, Lee, Wilson, Russell, and Ruffley. Ruffley having an off-track excursion in the opening race today. 16 laps again, the journey for this second Supersport race. Who will it be? A real battle here expected between Clark and Mitchell. We go racing, and Sam Clark, the West Australian, began well. He moves over onto the low line to protect his lead as they prepare to exit Motul Corner, and you can see it's a high-speed freight train behind him.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's definitely more than one line through that corner at the start of a Supersport race, but the boys now are just starting to find their rhythm and get into the race, and Luke Mitchell exactly where he needs to be behind Sam Clark right at the start of this race. You can't afford to let Sam get out in front and make a gap.
On board with Blythe. He is currently in 6th position, looking to move up on the inside there of Callum Spriggs on bike number 50.
Yeah, Blythe doing a good job on the Race Centre R6 at the moment, just sitting in there behind a group of 4 or 5 guys in front of him, but it's a very good start for him, and also Scarcerella just behind him on the number 47 Honda as well. The privateer in the black leather suit doing a good job to keep up with the rest of the field.
I'll tell you what, Steve, we've got a carbon copy of race number 1 about to unfold in race 2. Once again, we see Clark, Mitchell and Gunther. They are our top 3, and that's how it was in the opening race today as well. And then you have the likes of Spriggs and Blythe and Scarcella all having a battle for the next placings.
You know what though, David? What I hope to see is Troy Gunther have a better run this time out and be closer with the boys out front. He was Kawasaki mounted last year. He's on a Yamaha this year, and he definitely has got the skill to run with these front guys and perhaps challenge for the win. Good to see him up there at the moment as well, and in an integral part of this battle for the lead.
Thanks for joining us on Fox Sports around Australia. Second race for Supersport, and what a battle we have developing here. Sam Clark in advance of Luke Mitchell. And we check out the action from Ben Blythe's motorcycle again. 6th position is where he is racing. It's been that way pretty much since the outset of proceedings in this race. He continues to hound Callum Spriggs, that black and yellow bike you look at on the left-hand side of screen. Up towards Pirelli they charge, the left-right flick. Physical part of the circuit. The knee drags here, the right knee on the curb as they prepare for the run up the hill.
If there's ever an easy part of any race though, David, we're in the easy part of the race now. The start's out of the way. Here's talking about the start, here's the Suzuki replay, and you can just see there Scarcerella up the middle of the group. Pretty hard to find your way through that group of guys. Callum Spriggs on the outside. Ben Blythe, good start. Not as good as Spriggs though. Spriggs up the inside. Blythe tries to go around the outside there. And he closes the line off.
Back onto Yamaha Motor Finance straight. Clark in advance of Mitchell. They tuck down behind the screen. Maximum speed at the end of the main straight here at Wakefield Park. And several thousand spectators in today as well, which is great news for the ASBK and its owner, Motorcycling Australia. Good crowd at Wakefield Park. Plenty of people down on turn 1 particularly, with that excellent vantage point at the end of the main straight, and also along the back of the circuit, enjoying the afternoon sunshine here.
Absolutely. I mean, there are 2 places that there's a lot of action at this circuit, turn 1 and the last turn. Definitely good overtaking opportunities at those positions. And I'll tell you what, if I was watching this race right now, in about 6 laps, I would be watching at the last turn there as we head into it now, because I reckon this is where it is. And talk about that, look at that, there goes number 96, Luke Mitchell, up the inside but runs wide. That's the sort of action you get to see if you're standing on that hill, David.
Absolutely. Copybook stuff there by Sam Clark. Lost the lead, albeit briefly, maintained his composure. Of course, Mitchell ran wide because he went in so hot in his attempt to take the lead. And you so often see that in motor racing. And, well, the man that relinquished the lead came nipping back up on the inside to take it back again. Yep. That's sensational stuff.
We heard Luke Mitchell at the start of this race saying that he had everything to take it to the number 36 man, Sam Clark. And look at him, he's locked it up under brakes. They've made contact, but he's just got in that little bit too deep, and Sam Clark has been able to turn the Kawasaki tight, get on the gas, lift it up, drive out and hold his lead in this race. But he knows that Luke Mitchell is there to attack now, and I'll tell you what, it's not only him, you've got the other guys, Gunther, Cambridge Oliver and Callum Springs in the background there, as well as Benny Blythe hanging on the back of that group.
Yeah, you said it. I was about to put it another way, that with that move, Luke Mitchell has delivered a psychological uppercut to Sam Clark, who knows that Mitchell has got the goodies. It'll be bothering him, reminding you that Mitchell did grab the lead from him late in race 1 before it was declared.
Absolutely, that's got to be playing on the mind of Sam Clark at the moment, knowing that Luke Mitchell in the later stage of race 1, as you said, was able to pull away from him. That race got stopped. Unlikely he's going to have that luck this time round. Sam Clark is really going to have to dig deep to hold off the man in second place at the moment, Luke Mitchell.
These two young warriors of road racing, Clark and Mitchell. Gee, they have composure, they demonstrate maturity far exceeding their young years. And a fantastic battle behind them too. This is a wonderful race, second event for Supersport this weekend. It's lap 12 of 16. Gunther still maintains third on the racetrack, but I'll tell you something, he's anything but safe in that position because they are coming out to get him.
Oh, absolutely. This is far from over. I mean, and even Callum Spriggs is not out of this at the moment. Looks like Benny Blythe has just dropped off the back of that group, but with only 3 laps to run, anything can happen.
Cambridge Olivia on bike 81, the Road and Circuit YRD, sponsored Yamaha, in 4th position at this stage behind Troy Gunther. But Sam Clark still maintains the lead. Just as I say that, Luke Mitchell whips up on the inside. This time he doesn't run wide. New leader here, Steve Martin.
Yeah, that's a copybook move there by Luke Mitchell up the inside, and Sam Clark back on the brakes, and he holds it.
Oh, this is great stuff.
Hang on, does he hold it? Yes, he does. That is tight, but I'll tell you what, this is going to get messy into the back straight, and it's Luke Mitchell not giving up.
How good is this?
Now he leads onto that back straight and hard into the brakes. Sam Clark can't go up the inside there, and Troy Gunther is right on the back of these two as well.
Steve, let me tell you something. The sheep in the paddock next door are getting excited. There's no pulling the wool over the eyes of our race leader either. Luke Mitchell, barnstorming stuff in front.
Yeah, look at this, David. Up the inside goes Luke Mitchell, just holds that inside line. Sam Clark locked out wide there, just didn't carry the corner speed. Up the inside on the Suzuki replay, though, the move that started it all was Sam Clark on the Kawasaki, on the off-camber left-hander, had a bit of a moment there. That's where he lost that momentum. Then he tries to turn it tight, but Luke Mitchell says, nah, that's my line, and I'm having it.
Thank you to Suzuki, sponsor of the replays on our coverage. Also thanks to Motul presenting the Supersport action throughout 2016, and action aplenty it has been today. This is arguably the best race of the day in any class.
Yeah, and young Cambridge Oliver as well in that group on his Yamaha R6. He's also up there doing a fantastic job. I haven't heard a lot about him in the past, but I'll tell you what, the way that he's riding today, I'm sure we're going to hear about him in the future.
Luke Mitchell, terrific performance. Next time they charge onto Yamaha Motor Finance straight, they will see the final lap board. So Mitchell in advance of Sam Clark. Sam Clark not done with yet. He is just as determined as the rider in front of him. So don't think it is time to put the cue in the rack just yet, Luke Mitchell.
No, but he is starting to pull out a little bit of a gap. I mean, Sam Clark is going to have to pull out something very, very special to pull back Luke. We've seen how strong he can be in the last part of these races. But as we just about start the last lap, does have a little lead. I wouldn't say a safe lead. Sam Clark is going to have to dig deep.
It is still Troy Gunther in third.
A lot of movement there from Callum Spriggs' machine as well in the background there.
Cambridge Olivier. Next rider on the circuit on bike number 81. Here's the final lap board now being shown by Graham Checker Stewart. Once again, handling the start-finish line duties, and there is none better in the business than the man affectionately known as Checkers.
And I'm sure he's biting his fingernails right now because this is going to be a close one. And I'll tell you what, he just looked around at the wrong moment, did Luke Mitchell. He looked around. Well, yeah, there's no need to look behind. He's there, my friend. You don't need to look. That's the last thing you need to do on the last lap. You haven't pulled out a gap. He is there.
Yeah, in fact, it Didn't do him any favours, did it? Because Clark, he's gritting the teeth and he's out after him. Here's a chance! Up on the inside on the last lap. Well, Mitchell, he left the room and Clark said, thank you, sir.
Yeah, and he didn't slow down that time through either. We've got a back marker in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Can they get past cleanly?
Yes,
and they do.
It's Bernie Russell on bike 20, and look at this now, they close up. Final corner, final lap. What a race, and Sam Clark, is he going to take it? The horse is unleashed in the run to the checker. Sam Clark took the win, and an absolute cracker of a race there. Luke Mitchell second, then Troy Gunther, Cambridge Olivier, Callum Spriggs, Ben Blythe, Giuseppe Scarcella, Mark Chiodo, Chris Quinn, and then it was Ted Collins in 10th. Positions 11 through to 20, you can see. Well, if that race didn't turn you on, Steve Martin, you haven't got a switch.
No, I was on, my friend. I was on. I was talking about Graham Stewart checkers. I was chewing my fingernails.
Look at that, up on the inside. That's how it transpired in the end. The lead changing several times in the last 5 laps or so. But well done to Sam Clark. A couple of rising stars in the sport, in fact more than a couple on display in that race. Let's hear from them.
Yeah, I was really trying hard there for the whole race, but just couldn't quite get close enough to make my pass stick. But I'd like to say a big thank you to my Graffiti Alley Yamaha race team. They've done an excellent job preparing the bike, and yeah, I'm very happy and looking forward to Eastern Creek.
And now 3rd overall as well, and keeping those points tallies rolling along for the championship.
Yeah, for sure. To come away off a championship lead is really good. I wouldn't say Wakefield is our best track on the calendar, so to get a solid result here, and it's good confidence for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I made a move for the lead there early in the race and to see where the other guys were, and Sam got me back, so I thought I'd just sit there a little longer. And then when I made it up the top of the hill there with a few laps to go, I tried putting the hammer down a little bit, but I didn't have much left on the front tyre. I almost went down in turn 1, so I thought I'd just ease her up and just try and finish the race, and Sam got me there in the last lap. I tried to hang around the outside, but just ran out of space. But all in all, it's an awesome weekend. First time up here in the race podiums and 2 great battles, so I can't be any more happier.
I knew Luke was behind me. Luke's really strong at this track, and I can't thank Pirelli enough and my team. To get me over here just to start with is a lot of money. So to back it up with 2 wins is always good. That last lap was definitely sketchy, but I knew he was a little bit weaker in that point, and I went for it. It was a bit tight, but. It's racing. As long as we don't, bolt each other off the track, it's all good. And I get along with Luke, and I've got a lot of respect for him. So, racing with him is definitely a nice feeling. But I'm happy to take the win and go home positive.
He'll sleep well tonight, the boy. There is no doubt about that. Let's check the championship after round 2 here at Wakefield Park. Gunther, a model of consistency, 95.5 points. Then Clark, Mitchell, Spriggs, Blythe, Collins, Chiodo, Quinn, and Mason. Are your top 10. Congratulations to the boys in Supersport. Epic race in event number 2. A break and back with Superbikes in a moment. We're back at Wakefield Park. The second race for Superbikes is upon us. Let's head down onto the grid. Here's Jason Crump.
We could have a word here. This is interesting. Mike Jones got a bit of a penalty there from race 1.
A bit of a penalty?
Mike, we spoke immediately after the incident in the 3rd restaging of the first race. Do you feel you're a bit hard done by with a disqualification for the restart?
Yeah, look, I really enjoy riding with the Desmo Sport Ducati, and I love riding the Panigale 1299S, and I was so keen that race just to get back out there and have a crack and get out there and ride my bike. But obviously you've got to respect the officials' decision, and they make the choice. And if they don't want me to race, well then that's the way it goes. So look, I'm back out here now, and I'm really happy about that.
Okay, good luck with that, Mike.
Thank you.
I think your team owner Troy, you seem a bit more aggressive about that decision than Mike actually is. So what's the story?
A bit of a penalty. It was like a death sentence. We've got a protest in, of course, and hopefully the people of the powers have the sensibility to realise actually what went on. So a racing incident, a bit of cramming at the first corner. This track actually really lends to that type of racing. There's been a lot of crashes today, so hopefully we can just get a good result out this afternoon.
So Jason Crum with Mike Jones firstly, and a clearly agitated Troy Bayliss, triple world Superbike champion. Great to have him involved in the 2016 championship. Here's the grid now for Yamaha Motorcycle Insurance. Troy Herfoss, Wayne Maxwell, Glenn Allerton. They are your front row starters. Halliday, Jones and West. Ant West, super impressive in the opening event. Falzon, Elliott and Burke. Frost, Hampton and Senior. McIntyre, Berry and Keane. Then Schmidt, Baird and Spiteri. Ivkovic, Marsh and McGregor are at the back of the pack. So we wait in earnest for the start of this one. 16 laps the journey. Troy Herfoss, right-hand side of screen. Bike 17, the winner of the opening race today. It is blast off in race 2 of Superbikes at round 2 of the ASBK. Herfoss away well, but Maxwell away a little better on the inside of the Yamaha. He takes the lead. Look out, Halliday's down, as is Daniel Falzon. Not again, Steve, not again.
That's Halliday's favourite spot this weekend. He was there with Mike Jones in race 1, so yeah, not a good weekend for Halliday.
What are you saying? Halliday's holidaying on the first turn?
Well, I don't know about that, but Wayne Maxwell, boy, has he struck back. Crashed out in race 1, leads race 2 on the first lap.
Of course, Allerton, his teammate, crashed out in race 1 before he did. And Allerton running strongly in this race as well at this early stage. Mike Jones, we're on board with him on the Desmo Sport Ducati. And there's Falzon and crew Halliday. You don't see Daniel Falzon crash too often.
No, you don't. And up the inside there goes Ant West, I reckon. He just went up the inside of Mike Jones, and he did. He pulled it off. Mike Jones in the booming 11.99, 12.99 Ducati. Can't get him into turn 1 here at Wakefield Park.
They make a sweet sound, the Ducati Superbikes, don't they?
They certainly do. They certainly do.
Falzon standing beside his bike in the runoff area. You can see Halliday there thinking about getting back onto the circuit. It may only be to go back to the pits, that having been said. Not sure what the report is in terms of damage to the bike.
Yeah, well, he's definitely not going to get a result, so pretty much for him, he just needs to bring it back home and think about next time out.
This is Mike Jones we're riding with, and West ahead of him on the cranked Protein Honda. Been a good weekend for Honda. Great to have them back in the championship. Of course, the Honda bike is an older spec machine than that of its Yamaha rival, but proving still to be ultra competitive, and they're selling a stack of bikes still.
Yeah, they certainly are, which is why I guess that they haven't seen the need to do them up. There's Ryan Hampton in the back of the ground there as well on the Suzuki, on the Wayne Hepburn Suzuki, so a good job by him. Suzuki replay off the start. We're on board with Mike Jones. Jonesy gets quite a good drive, but gets caught up behind, looks like Glenn Allerton there, around the outside. Oh, there goes that accident that we saw.
Yeah, look, Falzon had nowhere to go.
No, he was on the outside, hung out to dry.
There he is, Daniel, on 25. What's this?
How many times have we seen it? How many times have we seen it at this circuit, though, David? Like, if you're around the outside of anyone, you can be taken out. Ant West got taken out as well this weekend. Crew Halliday, Mike Jones, they've all been down there.
Onboard's absolutely phenomenal.
They certainly are. If there's any arguments, they'll be able to sort of afterwards with these onboard shots.
Exactly, a sequence of replays presented by Suzuki. Various bikes onboard cameras putting you right into the action. Incredibly so. So, Allerton, you can see him there on bike 14.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job, but I've got to say I'm impressed with Anthony West this weekend. He's been aggressive, as always. He's managed to stay mostly on the bike. He's got a great result in race 1 with the 2nd position, and he's up there battling again at the moment. And if he keeps it up, he's going to be in for another good result.
Your thoughts on Ant West and his career going forward? You know, with what he's done over the last couple of years at World Championship level, he sort of finds himself treading water this year.
Well, he does. I mean, he's doing everything he can to get a great result at the Phillip Island World Superbikes. He raced on a super sport machine, and he got a podium there. And I know that it's his goal to perhaps get back to World Supersport again. I mean, at the moment he's trying to raise some money to perhaps get to Assen in one of the World Superbike rounds coming up. Look at the smoke coming out of the back of Jones's machine.
Too much. Let's hope it doesn't drop its lunch on the circuit.
Yeah, that's not a good look for Jonesy. He's going to get the black flag soon for sure, because that amount of smoke coming out of the back of the machine could end up being very dangerous.
Yeah, it's hazardous. We don't want oil on the track anywhere, let alone a particularly challenging circuit like this. You can just see there on the onboard, Allerton moving up with a rush. behind Ant West. Sorry, Steve.
No, talking about a rush. I mean, the man out front, he's on his spare bike. He's number 47, Wayne Maxwell, and he's just leaving them all for dead.
There he is, blasting past the camera on the main straight here.
That smoke is still billowing out the back of the Desmo Sport Ducati at the moment, so Mike Jones, I'm sure, will be pulled over quite shortly. There's Allerton, of course, on board. We're on board with Anthony West, looking back towards Glenn Allerton. Not quite as early on the brakes as Anthony West at that particular point. Anyway, Allerton struggling to find a way through at the moment.
Whilst we watch this fantastic onboard action, a wrap to the Sports Peak Body Motorcycling Australia and the hard-working crew at the helm of the Australian Superbike Championship, with the help of all of their corporate sponsors and all the volunteers and officials. The quantum leap this series has made in the space of 14 or 15 months is unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely, and you've got to say that without the help that everybody's put in, the officials, Motorcycling Australia, the sponsors of the event, we wouldn't be here watching this beautiful racing now. Although Mike Jones is not thinking that, because definitely too much smoke coming out the back of that machine.
Allerton's been overtaken by Troy Herfoss, so the Honda's now running second and third in this race. Wayne Maxwell on the official factory Yamaha R1. You can see him in the distance there, going through Pirelli turn now. We give you a look at bike number 47. And here's the battle for second and third. The two cranked protein Hondas, Ant West followed by Troy Herfoss and Glenn Allerton.
Definitely not the way that Herfoss wants it to be. There's Nick Marsh just moving over and letting everybody through as well, so good for the Aprilia rider to do that. Back marker's just moved out of the way nicely, and the race at the lead continues. Ant West looking back towards his teammate, number 17, Troy Herfoss, the winner of race 1. Not where he wants to finish. He wants to be up there somewhere near Maxwell, but that's not going to happen. He's dived up the inside in the last turn.
And West will cut back on the inside. We saw that happen exactly in the Super Sport race a little earlier. And on main straight again, it is West and Herfoss and Allerton and Mike Jones. Look, that bike's emitting more smoke than an Indian scouting party.
Yeah,
I'm looking for Chief Wahoo somewhere here.
Obviously, in the crash that he had earlier on in the weekend, something's come adrift, and there's some smoke arising from that hasn't been put right, I would say.
Another look at that. West, he was overtaken by Herfoss. Troy ran wide. Anthony maintained his composure and his racing line and took it back again. Yeah. Exciting stuff by the big bikes, the Superbikes at Wakefield Park.
Yeah, Herfoss is going to have to find somewhere else or attempt that move again. He just he went in too deep before and just couldn't pull it up in time. Had to run a bit wide, which allowed Anthony to get on the gas earlier and out of turn 1. He's not going to go this time, but he's definitely looking. Herfoss can hold tighter lines. I mean, look at the tight lines that Herfoss can hold there. As Westy's tyres wear, he's having to use more of the racetrack. So I think it's just a matter of time before Herfoss makes his way through.
G. Crumpy likes to get into the action. Our pit man, 3 times world champion. Right up on the pit wall. His hair's blowing around a bit too with these bikes blasting by him. Well, he won't be happy about that.
No, he definitely won't. But I'll tell you what, there's the move, there's the move. He can't do it, but you can see once again Herfoss starting to make a run on Anthony West. He likes to carry that mid-corner speed on these tyres. Are a little bit worn now. 3/4 of the way through this race, and there he goes up the inside into the off-camber left-hander.
So Tornado Troy up on the inside of Ant West, who won't cop that lying down. He'll be looking for an opportunity to come surging back on his cranked protein Honda teammate is Allerton. That shot on the final turn from a television perspective is my favourite shot at this circuit. Love the rear wheel sliding that's going on. Epic stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, you're just so hard on the anchors into that corner there. Here's that move again, up the inside, downhill, off-camber corner. Troy manages to hold it nice and tight and not lose the front, and straight up the inside of Anthony West.
Maxwell goes through, exiting Pirelli corner, up towards Shark Turn. Herfoss, Ant West, Glenn Allerton. That's second, third and fourth you are watching. Good race again here at Wakefield Park.
Yeah, Allerton's a little bit gun-shy compared to race 1, where he was very attacking. I guess he's taking a little easy on the front. Remember, he lost the front at the top of the circuit there in race 1. So Allerton now probably thinking, I've got 4 laps left. I'm just going to bring this home. It's not what I want, but I need the points Remember, he had 3 wins in a row last time out. A bit of a back marker there.
Nathan
getting in the way. Spiteri just...
wanting to race.
Yep.
Wanting to race with the guys up front. I'm not sure they'd be overly thrilled with that.
No, but Allerton makes his way through as well. So Spiteri doing a good job, doing the best he can. But look at Westy's bike now. That is Spin City out of there.
Brilliant sunshine prevailing at Wakefield Park. Temperature still around the 23-degree mark, I'd suggest. Been an outstanding day of motorsport. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage on Fox Sports. Round 2 of the 2016 Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship in the Superbike category in our coverage, presented by Yamaha Motorcycle Insurance. Now we ride on board the Nobby Underwear Suzuki. The rider is Braden Elliott. He currently occupies 5th on the road.
Yeah, this is his best result ever on a Superbike. Of course, he had a rough meeting, crashed a few times at Phillip Island at round 1. He's certainly learning to come to grips now with this GSX-R 1000 Suzuki in a distinctive pink paint job. Some great onboard shots for that man. But look at Ben Burke. Yeah, Benny Burke on the ZX-10 got a great drive up, slipstreamed him, and went flying past into turn 1 and 2.
He almost caught him only with the breeze, Braden Elliott. Ben Burke went by that quickly.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a battle going on between those boys at the moment.
Here's our race leader, Wayne Maxwell, that distinctive black helmet. Looks like Darth Vader at 250 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Wayne is very, very hard to stop when he's in this mindset. All weekend he's been very strong mentally, and to be able to put that crash from race 1 out and brake like that when you're in the lead by a mile with only a couple of laps left to go just shows you that nothing is phasing him at the moment.
Brendan Schmidt is the rider ahead of him.
That's Herfoss. I don't know what he's doing out in the off the track there. That's definitely not the right thing to be doing, especially when he's probably given Anthony West a handy second spot.
We'll try and have a look on a replay of an alternate angle.
Oh, he's tried to nip up the inside of number 23, and it hasn't worked out for him. Of course, that's Peter Berry. He's run out of road.
Wow. So an error there. Wayne Maxwell, meantime, continues his quest for victory on the Yamaha YZF R1. And he has to contend with terminal boredom out there at the moment. That's about his biggest challenge.
Well, he certainly does, but he does have the memory of that crash in race 1 when he was in a good position. So he's got a brilliant lead at the moment, but as he heads into the last lap...
His lead's out to about 5 seconds now, Steve. That's significant, isn't it?
It is. He's got it under control. He can dawdle from here. There's that last lap board, but he's not backing off, is he? Look at him. He's still sliding into turn 1 and into the tight turn 2 here.
So Wayne Maxwell been quite a rider over a long period of time. The Phillip Island specialist, they know him as, or he's referred to as, and barring unforeseen circumstances, as he exits Shark Corner, he is going to win this one comfortably. Through Honda he charges, and checkered flag not far away for the rider of Machine 47. He's been absolutely wheel perfect in this one.
Oh, he certainly has, and I'll tell you what, he might be good at Phillip Island, but he's better here at Wakefield Park this weekend, because this is a superb performance by the Yamaha racing team, man. Just one corner left. There's Adam Senior in front of him, but Wayne Maxwell, it's all about him at the moment.
Yeah, so Maxwell, he screws the throttle on, wide open, down the main straight he runs, and takes the checkered flag in race 2 of round 2. And he is understandably delighted about that. Next across the line, Anthony West, followed by Maxwell's teammate Glenn Allerton. And Troy Herfoss, despite his unscheduled off-track excursion, maintains 4th position on the road. Here's the recap of the placings. Ben Burke was next, then Braden Elliott, Sloane Frost, Ryan Hampton. Good job by all those guys. Adam Senior, Joel Baird on the Kawasaki. He was 1 lap down in 10th position. Then it was Berry, Schmidt, Spiteri, Marsh, Jones, Halliday and Falzon. Of course, the latter 3 all DNFs for different reasons.
Yeah, much better race that time round, David. Of course, it was good to see. When you think back to the melee that we had in race 1, I mean, boy, it was bad. But
and Halliday and Falzon during the early stages of this one as well. So Maxwell joining Troy Herfoss as a winner here today. And, well, John Falzon remonstrating with Anthony West. Let's go down to Mark Bracks.
You've still got to take away what you can from this and regroup for Eastern Creek.
Yeah, look, going to the spare bike is always difficult. So, yeah, I just didn't feel like I could ride the way that I was riding this morning or the rest of the weekend. I just couldn't flow with it. And, yeah, I'm pretty lucky to end up on the podium. You know, if Troy didn't run off the track, you know, I wouldn't be here. So, yeah, not the best race, but, you know, we had really strong pace all weekend. If I could have just got that bike to feel the way the first bike did, we would have been in business, but it wasn't to be.
It's been a good day. Really have to thank the Crank Honda team. It's just awesome. I've upset a few people, but here to try and win races, not make friends. So they always see things differently out in the track to what you see it. But I'm happy with the result. Team done a great job. It's awesome to be in such a nice team that everything's organised and they've really put that bike together really well. So I'm happy to give them a result.
And when was the last time you were worried about denting reputations, Westy?
Yeah, never.
Exactly right. Wayne, you had that look in your eye on the grid that I noticed, and you just took off from the start, and mate, what a race.
Yeah, full credit to the guys at the Yamaha Racing Team. I mean, it's been a bit of a struggle this weekend. We haven't, my mechanic Warren was here Friday, and then he left, and you know, Plummy filled in, and Plummy's done an awesome job, but I haven't been on a race without Warren since 2013, you know, so it was a bit strange not having him around, and this morning we just made a meal of it, but full credit to the boys. The team all came together, we got the bike ready and took the spare bike out there, and it was equally as good as the other bike, you know, and yeah, all weekend I've just been trying to get a good start to search some clear air, and I'd say, you know, the other boys got a bit caught up fighting at the start, and I just got enough of a gap and I just kept my head down, and it was enough to get us there in the end. So massive thanks to the guys at Yamaha, all my supporters, and my family's here, my son and Steve and everyone that helps me out, mate. It's yeah, it means a lot of this wins for them, and yeah, it's good it's just a good feeling just to still know that you can get to the front like that and stretch everyone out. It's a great feeling.
So there's some comments from the top three in that particular race. We'll hear from the top three at the completion of this round of the championship in a moment. Herfoss now leads the title in advance of Allerton by just the 2 points. Let's go back to the podium.
Congratulations, Ben Burke, on the BC Performance Kawasaki, third overall. Must be a bit of a little surprise to you?
Yeah, I kept my nose out of trouble today. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the outright pace. We didn't test here, and we were sort of on the back foot from the start, but wasn't far off. I just thought it wasn't quite fighting front guys, but to stay on it with the chaos that happened today, I couldn't be happier.
What were your expectations coming into this weekend?
Just try and survive it and just get the grips with it as quick as I can and try and do the best I can and not embarrass myself, because I know these guys have been riding these bikes for a while and they all push hard and they all definitely ride hard, and I've seen it out in the track. There's a lot of battle scars on my bike from this weekend.
Congratulations, mate. You got a good haul of championship points. You got a lap record in the process, and you've done it in front of your home crowd.
Yeah, thanks, Braxy. It's a hard one, take the overall win and lap record and get a race win, but we finished on a tough race, so just made some silly mistakes, and turn one I just got balked by Westy there when he passed me last minute and just shuffled me back, and to be honest, I wasn't aggressive enough. I couldn't ride the bike in the way I wanted to ride it.
Okay, been good to have your company on today's program. For more information about the Australian Superbike Championship, you can join the conversation on the social media addresses there or visit asbk.com.au. Of course, you'll see the following round of the Australian Superbike Championship right here on Fox Sports. Thanks for joining us on behalf of Jason Crumpton and Steve Martin. I'm David Tapp.
You